there everyone, Samuel Lewis here, and it's time once again for another vlog. So, I was listening to the show This Week in Google, which you can actually find at twit.tv/TWIG if you're curious about something like that. I really like the hosts, Gina and Jeff, on there, and of course Leo Laporte of the Twit Network hangs out as the sort of moderator of the group as well. So it's a nice little dynamic. But Leo in particular made a statement this week that, and no, I'm not about to pick on him, but wait for it. But he made a statement that got me thinking, as most people do when they make statements around me or when I'm listening to something. He made this statement, and it was sort of a joke, where he said, you can't say anything about anyone anymore because they will find them on Twitter and tell on you about it. I paraphrased, I didn't say the phrase exactly right, but that's pretty much what he meant. And like I said, it's not an attack on him anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But the point is, it did get me to thinking, the way that the internet has been put together so much now, really there's a higher level of accountability than we've ever had before. So, back before the internet, because I did exist at that time, or at least before it was mainstream. I mean, the internet existed, but it was still a military project as far as anyone knew whenever I was small, so it didn't come into its heyday until when I got older. But the point is that you could say something about someone in the broadcast sense, like a radio host could say something about someone else, and that wouldn't necessarily go back to the person. Now, in the age of the internet, not only do the old media types have to worry about something like this, because they'll go, hey, that other celebrity talked about you, blah, 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 but us new media types, podcasters, vloggers, all these other people, we're on all these networks, and as a result, there is a higher level of accountability there, because there's bound to be someone that wants to get us into a fight. I've had to say that's one of my pet peeves about the whole new media thing, and one of my few ones, is that I don't like when they try to get us to shoot at each other, because inevitably there's always someone that wants conflict, and what can I say? I'm a bit of a tech hippie. I don't like the conflict that much. But is this a good thing or a bad thing? Now, there are two sides for me to really think about this. On one hand, you've got a ability for the person that does like conflict to have an easier shot to fire. You know, they just load up a tweet, 140 characters, and boom, you know, and that's easy if you shoot it at the right person, of course. Someone that particularly has a low tolerance of sense of humor and stuff like that. And trust me, there are some of us new media types out there that would be that way. Old media types, though, especially. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum where, well, we can't be BSing as much as you could in media to begin with. Where if you say something about someone, you will be held accountable. And as a result, you can't just say, well, that guy's full of crap over there and he did this. Anytime I say a statement about someone, I say it knowing full well that it could come back to them. And I will not be ashamed of it. There was a time whenever, speaking of podcast battles, Leo Laporte and Adam Curry had a bit of a fight. And well, first of all, because I'm fans of both networks, I felt like Mommy and Daddy were fighting, but I did a Samuel's Thoughts about that. But pretty much people could not, neither side could say anything about the other one because there was accountability. In this age of the internet, we cannot just start petty little feuds and people not know about it. And I think that's a good thing, where it actually forces us to, as much as people say that internet anonymity causes us to drag our horrible selves out, I think that internet accountability actually makes us responsible for it. So yeah, you may go under that screen name and stuff, but you still eventually will be known by that screen name, and people will know you're a horrible person if that's how it goes. And there's things like IP addresses, so people can't put on a mask, to use an analogy, and pretend to be someone else. We're still going to know it's you because of your IP address. It's just things like that that make me think, on one hand, the internet has always been cited as this thing that can make people be these foul individuals, but on the other hand, it keeps us accountable. And that is something, especially as an online broadcaster, that I appreciate. So, take that with you will. What do you think about it? Well, if you want to send us any feedback, by all means, send it into samcastfeedback@gmail.com or leave a comment below, of course. I always like getting those, and I love responding to them whenever I find any feedback, email or otherwise. I always try to get up with you guys. And if you want to find any more of the vlogs, you can go to tscn.tv/vlog. I do one every week. It always comes out on Saturdays. So until next week, when whatever's floating around in my skull happens, then see you guys and continue to live your lives. Bye. This has been a production of the Samcast Network. tscn.tv. What's your passion?